Yo, 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 what's good, y'all? It's your boy, Player X.
And Galone Wolf coming at you hot.
And we both together are Semi-Limited Podcast.
It's the remix, baby. A little old.
I don't condone that. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
That's some Wheezy.
But,
That's from 2007, Lil Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I still don't condone it. I don't want to be tied to that, so it's just like a lone wolf thing. That's
Everyone's just like, oh my god, he sounds just like Lil Wayne, and you're like the only one that thinks that it's not.
Yo, like, did you have Lil Wayne on the podcast?
Like Lil Wayne's like, yo, that was such a good impression. I'm gonna do a stitch with you guys.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Appreciate all the support and love we've been getting from all of you guys. Really warms our hearts and makes us feel good that we're doing something good for the community and for everyone else that they all enjoy. So
yeah, we really appreciate it, fillers. Jumping right into this part of it, just gonna give a quick shout out to Unplugged Gaming out in Banlist, New York. We have a Discord link for you right below. Just give them a look. Regarding Semi-Limited Podcasts, we are still doing that Twitter followers, hitting 50 for it.
We're close. We're at 20.
We are close. We are really close. I could almost fucking taste it.
I did taste it.
Oh, we tasted it on the gram. Everyone loves the gram. But yeah, give it a follow. Check out our other social media pages. Give that a follow. You never know when we do a surprise giveaway for those. Moving on from there, we had some big YCSs going down this weekend. We had them in 3 different locations. Let's not forget that it was the Big 250. Big 250 already, which is...
Big 250.
It's crazy, man. I actually went to the 200th, so it's crazy how it's already 50 past that, but good on ya.
I have my 200th math, yeah. I still have the math.
Yeah, I still have mine, actually, right over there. I'm just saving it for our little room. I'm gonna put it up.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah,
it was really cool. I mean, especially with 2 out of the 3 being streamed, I think that was really cool. It was because with the time zones that wound up being, it didn't matter what time of the day you were up, you could watch Yu-Gi-Oh. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, I missed it all, but it went down at the London. Alright, guys.
Yeah, it was up in London first, and then LA was up, and the Bogota was going on in between, but they didn't stream as far as I'm aware. They only had commentators and people who were reporting to the Konami website. So,
how can you trust them? How can you trust them if they didn't stream it? Scarface was right, everybody.
No stream, it didn't happen.
No proof. But cannot trust a Colombian. But for London, it says right here that they had 3,500 plus, which is bonkers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's kind of crazy how LA only had 32 plus. And then, those Colombians had 1,100.
Yeah, Bogota had like 1,100 or something like that. I mean, I think London was a little bit higher in attendance just because they're a little less, I think, strict on as far as the vaccinations and stuff. Or because everyone out there, as you can see their stream, no one was really wearing masks. So, but if you see on the LA stream, everyone had to. It was like
Cheerio.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a difference, and honestly, I enjoyed watching the London stream way more than I liked watching the LA stream, because London, I don't know what it is, but those blokes got it down. They know how to put on a show. They had interviews with the voice actors, and then between rounds they had the guest cards. Then they had the commentators were doing quick little speed duel tournaments. In between rounds, they had the most going on, and it was really, really cool. And I can't say the same for LA, for Los Angeles. It was almost like a pain to watch that stream.
You're a phobe to any other card game but Yu-Gi-Oh, but I dabble in a lot of things.
Correct, I am.
But Pokemon had their Worlds in London this year, and that looked, dude, they went all out for it. They decorated the buses. I think they did trolleys too. They just put Pokemon on it. The whole convention center that they had it at, they went wild and out for. So it's actually really cool. I think London does show out and put down for their nerds.
Honestly, I think that Pokemon's just bigger everywhere else, so I can see that them going extravagantly big like that for Pokemon.
That's fair.
Imagine if London had enough money to like put on a wig for everyone that looked like Yugi, or had everyone walking around with like a big ass briefcase like Kaiba,
which they could fund. Which they could.
They could fund. They just announced it, I think. Yeah, at the end of the month they're gonna be taking pre-sales. Speaking of which, what do you think about those like side products? Like we heard about like the pot collection, and now we got the Kaiba briefcase. And like, do you feel like are they even really that big a deal? Only know a handful of people who got like the pot collection.
I love them. If it wasn't, so if they didn't ding so much on the shipping, which like I understand it's coming from Japan. But if they didn't ding so much for the shipping, I would have got that pot collection, like 100%. I love knickknacks. You guys can't see it yet, but my desk is covered in pop figures, minifigs, all this bullshit. I love that kind of stuff. They would be front and center right next to my computer while I was podcasting. I mean, and as regards to Konami being the sole proprietor for them, I think that's a good call, just because of quality control. Before the podcast, a little... view for that, I showed Xavier the new Five Below exclusive figures that they have, and they did our boy Summon Skull very bad. So I mean, it's cool to get that shit cheaper, you know what I mean? But when it comes to quality, if I'm investing in that shit for like the long term, like I want it done right. I want it done by Konami, officially licensed.
No, I can agree with that. But like, does it really have to cost $300 for a pot collection? Just to get some cards and some small figurines. It's not even like they're big figurines. Like, same thing with the briefcases. It's really just a glorified deck box that holds your mat and some like stacks of cards, and you get the 3 prismatic blue eyes. But you're paying $300 just for the blue eyes in my eyes.
Yeah, dude. So I think it comes down to the supply and demand right now of what the world is, because, I mean, you were around for the pandemic. You remember me talking about how crazy it was to get Pokemon cards, and how it's just like if you went to a Target or a game store and they didn't have Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like how absurd would that be? Just gone, everything.
I mean, I get that, but at the same point in time, if I went to Target or Walmart to go get a Yu-Gi-Oh figurine or something like that, it's not going to cost me $300. It's going to cost me like $10, $15. I'll get the stupid ass little collection pack. Like even like your thing with Five Below, you went down there, you got a whole figurine for $5. Like I'm not saying that Konami doesn't need to be in charge of that or in the lead of that, but like, come on, $300, like that's a little absurd. Like I'm only gonna guess that this Kaiba briefcase is gonna be about $250. So like in my eyes, you're only really paying for the cards, and then like the briefcase, quote unquote, is like free.
I think it's aimed at like how much do you want it? Like, you know what I mean? And this, because at that point, it's going to get scalped.
They just think we're made of fucking money at Konami, dog. They swear to God, we're out here spending these fucking government checks on cards, and they're right. They're fucking right.
These Siri fat white Americans. No, okay. Sorry, that's a little South Park coming out in me, folks. I'm not racist, I swear.
No, he says so. But,
That's right. Yes. Brother Clayton.
we'll find out. It's yet to be
oh God.
Cut that.
It's only a matter of time before my podcast became political.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America. I'm sorry. I thought I could say whatever I wanted in America.
You can't just say white power on the mic. Oh, I'm sorry. But no, getting back to like, dude, for fucking sake, $300 for some literal bulk foil cards of Kaiba.
Bulk foil.
They are, bro. All those cards. I was checking out. I was scrolling just through Zodiac, and there was like, why does Kaiba's briefcase in that when he goes into Yugi's grandpa's store, he's like, why does it look like there's a bulk fucking
like a bulk lot,
bro?
It's an auction lot somebody took up. I'll trade you your blue eyes white dragon for all these.
It was like, why does this look like?
And it's like $75 max.
The average Facebook Marketplace seller of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Kaiba out here hustling. I thought Paul Miller was bad.
Yeah,
Kaiba out here getting that work in.
But yeah, you got to take into consideration. It probably costs a little bit to make, to be honest. And then they do get dinged on the shipping. But I mean, they're definitely taxing us for it. And it's a 25th anniversary. I'm more in the line of I'm happy they're doing it. I'm glad they're even just giving us the option. But Anime is pop culture right now too, so I see like where it could be cheaper just because of how like it's going to sell.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that they aren't worth it, but I would agree that they need to be priced moderately, significantly lower at the very least, just to make sure that everyone can get in.
Yeah, I mean, even if they give us like a budget version of it, you know, like maybe the hinges on this brief.
Yeah, or like one pot for like fucking $10-$15. You know, you don't gotta get the whole collection. Maybe not the card, but if you want the little figurine little bullshit, you can pay for just that.
Yeah, they definitely could go that route for sure. But at the end of the day, I'm happy they're doing it. You know, it's just like that fucking stupid Fry from Futurama thing. Like, just take my money, whatever.
just take my fucking money. Speaking of taking money, Cash Tira out here taking down YCS's back to back, almost a three-peat.
Snores, Bill.
Yeah, nah. Cash Tira, for those who don't know, took down Bogota in Colombia, and it also took down LA with our very own Paulie Aronson taking down LA as well. So congrats to him. And then I think Sprite took London, if I'm not mistaken, in the finals. But Cash Tira was in the finals there as well. So it was very, very, very represented. I think one of the most represented decks in the room.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it's what, tier 0's 65%. They're just coming in shy at, 40, 50%. It's definitely a well-represented deck. It is a solid tier 1 deck.
Tier 1
You
for
can't
sure.
take that away from it.
We came a long way from special summoning Ascended Thunder, baby. We came a long way. No more instant contact in my deck, baby.
I never thought the day would come where I'm just rooting for a Sprite deck or I'm rooting for a Runic deck. Because I gotta tell you, I hate your archetype.
Yo, fuck you. I was trying to pilot Sprite in tier 0 format, and no one gave a fuck about the sprites.
Let me tell you why.
They didn't give a single fuck.
Well, it's because it came in super impressive. It had frogs left and right. You pull a fucking 3 negate turn with the totally awesome. You can go fuck yourself, buddy. You can't get around it. Draw the out.
That's it, guy. Yo, RIP Elf. Honestly, I'll go on record right now, side note, to say that although I'm sometimes right, there are times where I'm wrong. And I have gone on record saying that Sprite is dead. And I may have to eat those words, as Sprite just took down the YCS. So, and even at 16% representation in the top cut in London, and an even slimmer, I don't remember what the percentage is, but there was only five Sprite players in Los Angeles in top cut. And even with those slim pickings, they still managed to get to those top 8 slots.
Yeah, YCS LA had it was 3 sprites in top 32, so it's not bad.
3?
Yep, 3 sprites top 32.
See, it's crazy to me. Like, I think that's skill right there. So not to say it's representation. It's not like, the bigger the net kind of say. Like, there's some skill pilots who really took the deck and took the meta into consideration and piloted a really good engine to far in the tournament.
I mean, it's a cool little archetype. It's always been cool. It just spams out itself. If you can get past, you just throw it out. You just have to get a 2 on board, and then they can special summon, and then they replace themselves, essentially. So it's always cool. I never hated them. I was a full-hearted tier guy from the rip, so like they were my natural born enemy. I'm Predator, they're Alien. We all know how that went down. One was better than the other.
Yeah, no, they definitely did go head to head. But even still, the Sea Sprite is always coming in at number 2. It does my heart proud, because I thought they were dead. So to see them even doing somewhat good at all is good to me.
You know what I can get over? Flunderies, man. Let that shit die. It's like the bird shit on your car that's just chilling there in a summer day. Just let it go, guys. Please. You fucking trolls. Take a shower, sell your cards. Just be done with it.
Nah, we're out here, though. We're out here flocking it up. Birds of a feather, nigga.
No, see, I can't see you as, even though you did rep that deck when it first came out, all I see is, you remember Eric's round opponent that he lost to with the Flunderies, how greasy that's the average flea player to me, bro.
Yeah,
just a
absolutely.
fucking slime ball.
It's a fucking greaser.
Like, the only thing you need to buy was prosperities at that point, and that's your big spend, you fucking sleaze.
It's all right, though. Don't be hating on us budget niggas. We out here. Budget niggas up.
Nah, play trap tricks. Don't be a scumbag with the flu.
Yeah, everyone's got $30 in a dream.
Yeah, I mean they even had one in Top Cut at LA for trap tricks, so that was pretty good. Even Scareclaw had a rep in there. That's one of those in the main storyline of the archetype and the lore. That's what I was really into. Just I thought their art was sick, but they just were underrepresented, and it's cool to see them in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Not even that those decks were like underrated, but like those pilots. I don't know if you saw the top 32 like list for America for the NA. Oh my god, it was crazy stacked. We had like Cody Angelov, Jesse Cotton, Couch was in there, Shu Ping, of course Paulie, Hassan, Pack. It was so jam full of just such incredible duels. It would have been marvelous to watch all of those duels, not even just the ones that were like streamed, but like just all of them. Like you would learn so much watching Jesse Cotton play Cash in the Top Cut stream. Oh my god. Mm-hmm. I remember sitting there with Brendan and Albert. We were watching it and just thinking, this man is just so big brain. He played around the opponent's Mosquito after just leaving a Zeus on board by activating a Lance to lower Zeus's attack so he wouldn't be burned by it, and then eventually came back. It was insane. Just to watch skilled pilots like that play the deck just gives me hope that I can one day learn from them enough to get in positions like that. So definitely fueled my batteries for sure.
Yeah, man, it's wicked cool. You could always go and see like a college basketball game, but when you're watching LeBron James slam a ball into the net, man, it's a whole different ball game. So you got to take it in comparison like that. Like that is the
end game, yeah.
LeBron James of Yu-Gi-Oh. So it's definitely different from watching, a Barry versus Hickman game, or like, even me versus some other guy, at a local.
But just seeing the raw talent up there was just crazy. Like everyone's going off. Shu Ping, I was honestly not a big fan of like the Rune and Castera theory, but like seeing it in action and having him bring out, I think he was the first one to have the achievement of bringing out 3 Arise Hearts on the board at one time. But this man had so many Arise Hearts on board and with so many cards attached to it, because the runic cards help you banish. It's insane. I didn't think the synergy was there, but he definitely proved me wrong. So, and got top 8.
You know how toxic that deck sounds? Runic Kashtira. Toxic.
It definitely was oppressive.
Radioactive.
I agree with you. Seeing it in action and definitely watching the synergy between both of those engines, it's like, wow, I cannot believe that that's really going down like that.
Another one.
Even the differentiations between the two hemispheres kind of stood out when you're watching those streams. Like I said, we were watching one round at the London faster than we were watching the break between rounds at LA. Like when LA round 1 or round 2 was over, we went to London and watched 2 rounds go before we went back to LA. And it was just insane. It's like, wow, I don't understand why it's so much slower here and they're doing way less. So kudos to the European stream team, because they were holding it down. They know how to put on a show once again. So I was very, very, very impressed.
Now, would you say it was more skill-based at the US of A? America? Fuck yeah.
America? Absolutely. I agree. Well, I think all of the heavy players are all in NA. Like there are not to say that there aren't. Of course, there are good people. Andre Torres, even though he's
big streamers were at the
yeah, what I'm saying. Joshua Schmidt. There's a whole bunch of all like players that are out there. Ness. They're all really good, but a majority of them are in the North American hemisphere. So just to see the competitive pool from here is like, it's way more competitive on this end than it is anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I'd like to make the comparison of like the MLB compared to the Japanese baseball league. Like they're still good as hell over there. You get some stars out of there, but it's just a different ball game from the pros to, little sideshow per se.
Yeah, no, for real. And like the matches really stood out. All the streams were really good. I didn't see that there was like, maybe there was a couple matches that were like a little bit on the boring side where I kind of picked up my phone. It was kind of, fucking around. But for the most part, I was pretty heads on the entire, both streams of the YCS.
So you were not a fan of the tier element format. I was a huge fan of tier element format. Loved it.
So did you love seeing that tier elements match?
Didn't see it. Loved it.
In the same breath. Cannot believe it, guys. Cannot believe it. In the same breath. Love the deck. Didn't see it. Love it, though.
I actually, I was trying to catch a few of the games. I was going to watch a couple LA, best, I was going to search it on YouTube. What's the best matches from 250th? No, I ran out of time right before we were streaming. So after this, I'm probably going to watch a few just to see what's up with it. Because you know me. So what I was getting at with asking about how you obviously didn't like it, do you feel like you're maybe a little bit more into this format because you have the top deck?
Honestly,
Sharon,
Sharon? Really, it wasn't like that, Shelly. It wasn't like that. But no, it wasn't like that at first. This deck, like I said, has grown a lot, and even like when I played Flunderies years before, not years, like a year and a half before, but I like the potential in the decks when I know that the support that's coming is good. Like this Flunderies was good, and I knew that the quick play was coming, and it was going to cease to stop. It was going to cease to lose to the things that it was already losing to, and then progress. So yeah, I do like that it's a tier 1-ish deck because we earned it. We went from being able to lock one zone on one person's turn max, or maybe two, to now I'm zone locking 10 by your main phase 1.
But you had a problem with tier elements?
Yes. Because
just to cut you off there, you said you liked decks that you knew in the future were coming would solve their own problems.
Yes.
Tier elements. Prime example.
We
were fighting.
I'm not saying it's a bad deck. Don't get me wrong.
No, are you just saying it got too good for its own?
It got too strong. It was far and away the highest deck. Like that's what the difference is.
So you think Cash
tier is tier 1, but it loses to a lot, so it can also allow other decks that just side in tech cards to deal with the main engine. And I think that a deck that's engine can play through not only other decks' engines, but other decks' tech cards is what's gonna stand the test of time. That's what happened with the tier 0 format. It wasn't the fact that you guys in the tier 0 format were playing through other engines. At the end of the day, it's only 3 fusions, but it's the fact that now you got the Yogitos, and not only are they milling and getting cards out of my deck, which is a resource, but now you're shuffling out of my graveyard back into the decks, which is another resource.
You're welcome.
And then you have the cards that are coming back every single turn, and then you have pops with the field spell. It was just so much. Kashtira, it is really just a Rise Heart rush now. You just make a Rise Heart, and it just gets you there.
Well, no, you have that other rank 7. What's his name? Mine Eater.
What, Mine Hacker?
Mine Hacker.
Mine fucking Eater. Shut the fuck up, Dylan.
Man the Bear Beach number 76. Is that his name?
Yeah, Man Bear Beach is no problem for me, PP.
Oh.
But yeah, for Cash, it's really, people were talking about ban Diablosis. Nah, fuck you. You just play better decks or deck build better. You just know that Kashtira is in the fucking deck. Just include a second copy of your most important cards. That's
when you wanted nothing but death to my deck. Well, sir, I say it's time we think of what problem cards are in this format. If we were going to ban something here and today, what do you think a problem card in this format is?
A problem single card?
Yeah, let's just say an oppressive card for this format. Obviously.
Unfortunately, it would go against your deck, and I would say ban the Gimmick Puppet, the Nightmare Puppet, or whatever the fuck it is.
You're wild, and that deck isn't even topping. I'm sorry. It's not winning.
It's not converting, you're right. The conversion rate is low, but I still hate that fucking lock. Konami just banned Scythe for the same reason of being oppressive. So now we're going to give a card that's just as oppressive and doesn't even activate, and there's no way to stop that? No, fuck that. Get rid of the card. People weren't even attacking it until it was like, people were also talking about banning Expulsion. And I think that that's wrong because Branded still needs their support. I'm not saying stop the fucking deck altogether. I'm just saying if you're going to turbo into some shit that can be stopped at some point in time. Raw's Disciple, Edo.
I don't even think that card is that problematic because there's other variants of it, of doing the same exact thing. Like, it's just like, I mean, if that's the problem card for you, it would be Expulsion. It's just like how Elf got hit in the crossfire.
But I don't think it's Expulsion because like Ito and Raw all have outs.
But that takes that whole play away.
No, but it doesn't. You can still do the same play and end on the Ito or the Raw lock on my side of the field, and I feel way more comfortable.
Ito?
Yeah.
If Ito hits my board, I'm saying like,
there are cards in the game to stop Ito is what I'm saying. You can activate a Chalice. You can activate a Droplet. There's things that you can do to get cards off the board or negate them without special summoning. You know what I'm saying? There are things I can activate enemy controller and tribute for cost and then target another. You know, there are ways to get around it. I cannot stop a gimmick puppet that has touched my field, that is not activated, and it just applies for the continuation of the turn. Like, fuck that. Like, that's just way too oppressive in my eyes. That's way more oppressive if you not playing, period, than me looking at your extra deck and banishing one card from it. And maybe 7 cards off the top of your deck.
I mean, so you could use its own effect, if I'm not mistaken, and just summon another gimmick puppet. So if you know it's coming, why don't you just special summon another gimmick puppet, use its own effect, and then tribute summon it?
Look at the last line.
You cannot special summon any monsters for the rest of the turn except gimmick puppet.
That's the only line that matters. It applies to the player who has the puppet, not the one summoning it. So it literally just says you're not playing the rest of the turn.
Unless you have a gimmick puppet in your grave or hand.
Oh my god. No, of course I'm not going to have a fucking gimmick puppet in my grave or a hand, Dylan.
You know this card is...
Shut the fuck up.
You know this card's in the format.
And then do what? Summon the gimmick puppet and do what, Dylan? What would you like me to do with it? And now I have 2 dumb bitches on my field. What would you like to do?
You can tribute summon it.
No, you can't.
No, you special summon the gimmick puppet because you could still special a gimmick puppet.
Dylan, shut the fuck up.
Read the card, man. There's an
Card's
L.
oppressive. The card. You're right. Read the last line of that card. It's oppressive.
You cannot special summon any monsters for the rest of the turn except gimmick puppet.
Bingo!
Just gimmick puppet. Just gimmick puppet OTK. Stop being a scrub.
All right. I hate
okay.
You.
Okay, Sharon.
And this is why you're out the format. This shows right here.
All right. This lock's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Is it ban worthy?
Yes. Yes.
How often? I mean, is this because of your personal quarrels at locals?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it's funny because I had a chat. I don't remember who I chatted with, but we had the talk that Eric plays because he likes to win, and he wins because he plays oppressive cards. So the argument I think that we were having was that Eric, by default, plays oppressive cards. So anything that Eric plays should be banned because if he's playing it, it's degenerate enough for it to be ban worthy.
You didn't have to do him like that.
That's just 2 men's opinions.
That's cold. Ice cold.
Hey, it's just what it takes to win, man. You got to play oppressive cards, and that one is just way too oppressive. Get rid of that, and I think we have a fine format. I don't think anyone is complaining about anything.
You don't think your deck needs a little attitude adjustment?
You want to touch my deck? I'll give you Fenrir. I'll give you Fenrir to 2, Unicorn to 1, Theosis to 1. And I think that solves everything. Maybe even if you're feeling spicy or really oppressive on my deck, a Rise Heart to 1. And that's just so that with the mirror match, if you do get it's just who makes the first Diablosis and rips it out. Yeah, exactly. Because once it's gone, it's gone. But anything else that gets ripped face down, as long as you have your Rise Heart, you're still good because you can attach it to your Rise Heart, put it face up, and then when you banish it, you can just use the Theosis to add it back to your extra deck. So anything else doesn't matter.
So do you think this is going to be one of those decks that can stand the tail of time of a ban list? Or do you think it's eventually just going to get a little spanking just to move the next product?
Well, if I recall correctly, the hide and seek champion is what, Dante in the BAs. He just never got hit. So I don't think it's Dante level of hide and seek, but I think that we'll probably hit lightly on the wrist. I might see maybe a Unicorn to 2 or 1 and maybe a touch to Theosis, if not Birth. I see the argument for Birth, but Birth is a continuous that does nothing by itself. At least Theosis has an on-field effect and a banish effect. I think it's just more applicable to just hit Theosis, in my opinion, but that's just me being level-headed. Of course, if anything, I'd say hit Birth to 1, so that way I can just cut 1 copy and be fine.
Okay.
But that's just me. I don't think that the deck needs anything, and I don't think that there is a ban list that needs to be implemented for any card other than the Nightmare Gimmick. That shit's just fucking retarded. I hate it.
So Brandon's gonna get a couple good cards next set.
Yeah.
Do you think they should hit Gimmick Puppet proactively then? Is that what you're saying? Or
That's exactly why. Yes.
do you think the deck's gonna be good enough to not even run this anymore?
I think we should stop the deck from evolving that way off-right by cutting the head off, by getting rid of that puppet. Because when the new support comes, they're going to replace it anyway. But the people who don't want to replace it or don't want to go get the new cards and whatever like that, don't like change or whatever, they're the ones who are going to keep playing this oppressive-ass card, and that's the shit I don't want to deck build around.
I could see that.
It's like Mystic Mind that only branded players get to use. Fuck that.
Maybe you should have been on the right side of history, huh? The branded side.
The branded side of history.
No, that's fair. I could definitely see that being a hit. The deck's just, I think that's the only light in this dark tunnel of a format that I see is the branded. I don't know, man. I just don't like Kashtira. I don't know if it's because of how strong the board is once it's established and how easily the board can be established. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's because it is an impressive board sometimes.
It's just because, like, if you know I'm on branded, you could just back row block me so easily. And, like, there's outs to it. Like, you can just kaiju, or you could, lava golem, normal fallen of Elba.
Yeah, so, like, that's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of
no,
outs.
but I'm pretty sure your guy can just steal Albaz before I can even fuse, so I don't think that's an out.
Okay, so then kaiju it. You know how many times I've been kaiju'd? Kaijus in the main are so great because most of the time, 87% of the time, a Kashtira player is just gonna Rise Heart Rush. So a kaiju in the main takes care of like every problem you have. You just have to deal with the back row he set. You're telling me that's threatening? Fuck you. And fuck anyone who thinks the same.
What's threatening is just not being able to use my spell and trap zone at all.
All right, then kaiju to Shangri-La.
Yeah, I mean, good luck if you don't draw the kaiju, or if you just brick with the kaiju. Believe me, I've lived and died by the Jew. Kaiju, that is. I can't be Kanye here.
Yo, he's over here talking about dying by the Jew, loves his German fans. I don't know, man. He was just saying he's not racist earlier.
A lot of propaganda is going to be popping up about the semi-limited boys.
A lot of it going around.
But I think Gimmick Puppet's a fair assessment of a card that shouldn't be a thing.
It shouldn't be. We should just ban it and call it a day.
I think that's one of the Banlist hits that you've mentioned that I could actually agree on.
I only make sensible hits. I'm for unleashing everything off the list, but in moderation. This is something that is too oppressive, that is only applicable or accessible through a certain deck, and I'm just not with it. If everyone was doing it, I can deck build around it. Someone's going to come up with an out or something like that. If only certain players are doing it, I can't deck build around that. So whatever. You can call it complaining, you can call it whiny, or you can call it like how it is.
Oh, not to bring it up again, but I was just looking at the top coverage for top 64. Look at the 2 Drytron players that made it. How crazy is that? Those dudes love their deck.
Boom, boom, boom.
I think that was like one of the coolest upgrades to an old style of playing. The ritual summon aspect of the game. I thought it was just a wicked cool upgrade to that. So I always like how that deck just keeps coming back. I wish that they couldn't abuse it so hard, but I mean, I guess that's what you got to do to be good in an old style of playing.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with that.
But I think that was a good episode right there. We had some good coverage on YCS 250. We'll probably get some more coverage on the next couple of tournaments with a little bit more feedback from yours truly.
Yeah, the next YCS I think is in Philly, right here in our backyard. I'm ready for the next competitive wave because these regional runs only going to do so much. So,
yeah.
But with that, guys, we are running out of life points.
Yugi!
Kaiba! I just want to make sure you guys are all tuned in by going down the description below and clicking that link tree below just to make sure you get attached and followed all of the social sites. Go down there, click our Twitter, hit follow, get entered into this raffle. We want you guys to get good shit from us. We're willing to give you guys gifts. Just need that support. And we're loving the people who have already shown it. So this is all for you guys who are listening without supporting. Now it's time to show some support.
We'll wash your back. Just wash ours. Wink, wink.
But also go down there, check out Discord for Unplugged. As I've said, it's in the description box down below. So just go down there, click there. If you're in the Discord community, just go jump in there and start getting into your TCG.
Yeah, a lot of great little small communities form in there. You can play tabletops, anything. Pokemon, One Piece, Wink. You know, their Yu-Gi-Oh community can use a little love. I see them on the side there. They got, you know, little 6 or 7 person locals going. So maybe go there and be king of the games.
And with that, guys, I am Player X.
And I am the Galone Wolf.
And we are Semi Limited Podcast.